So this is the third document to help you get started in the class. So starting from the home page, the click here to begin button, and we went through the welcome letter. So now let me go through this MyMathLab instructions. This is a sheet that the Pearson Publishing Company produces to help you get signed up. So if you've never signed up for MyMathLab before, this should be helpful. It's pretty clear. So just let me know if you have any questions or having any difficulties with getting signed up for the MyMathLab course. And then this is my step-by-step instructions for the course. And I really want you to look through this. It's a long document, but it has a lot of helpful information in it. So the first thing I want you to do is set up a math notebook, as I mentioned earlier. And then my suggestion is that you watch the section video lecture, read the section in the textbook, and or look at the PowerPoint slides, whatever is the most helpful learning tool for you. Then do your homework. And then this has details on what are the learning helps that are available and how do they work. Then we have free 24/7 online tutoring that I'll talk about when we look into the Canvas course. Here's information again about how to contact me. You can go to the Math Center in room V329. There's computers there you can work on and student tutors where you can get help. And students tell me that's very helpful. So I want to make sure it's clear to you that homework has due dates, but you can still work on it after the due date. But you only get 75% credit for all the problems you work on after the due date. So I want you to do the homework. So I want to leave you some incentive to do it by giving you 75% credit, but I really want you to stay on time. So that's why I do have a penalty for working on it late. Then the mini quiz, there's a mini quiz after each homework assignment, and it's just what it says, a mini quiz. It's very short, and it's just so you can check yourself and I can see if you've actually learned the material. Can you do the problems without the homework helps available? So then each week there's going to be a bigger cumulative quiz of everything you've done for a week. And you have to finish 70% of all your homework assignments before you can access the quiz. And there are practice quizzes. So the practice quizzes are optional. If you think you're ready to go, you can just jump right to the weekly quiz, but everyone has a practice quiz if you do want to try it out first. Then you can check out your study plan if you want more review before you're taking the quizzes. Quizzes have a deadline. So even though it says due date in MyMathLab, for homework, the due date is please get it done by then for 100% and get 75% if it's late. For quizzes, the deadline is a deadline. You can't take your quiz after that. If you miss the deadline, your score is a 0, and that's significant. The weekly quizzes that are numbered, quiz 1, quiz 2, etc., those are worth a big percentage of your grade. So I really want you to spend a lot of time and energy on them. And I give you 2 hours, but the quiz will stop 2 hours after you start, or if the deadline happens, whichever comes first, whether or not you have finished. So please allow yourself plenty of time to work on those high stakes quizzes. Once you've taken the quiz, you can click the Check Your Grade Review Quizzes button, look it over and see what your mistakes were, and sort them out into, oh, just silly little mistakes, I can solve that easily, or this is a I don't get it mistake, and go back and spend some more time with that topic. Every topic is important. So you can retake the quiz as many as 3 times, and only the highest score will get posted to the gradebook. And that's how you continue weekly. So then there'll be a midterm the week of October 14th and the final exam the last week of the semester, and you have to come on campus to do that. So that is the instructions for the course. And then I thought I'd kind of summarize it really briefly here. Discussion boards are due Mondays. Quizzes are due Tuesdays, the big quizzes. Discussion posts to your classmates are due on Thursdays. Every day, pretty much, you're going to be watching videos, studying, reading the textbook, doing homework, and taking mini quizzes. So if that helps you organize your work, that's why I created that. Then here's the course schedule, and this is what I used to put the due dates on the homework assignments. Please don't wait until the due date to work on the homework. Some of the homeworks might take you more than one session of working on them, and I've tried to allow for that. For instance, you can see here that I say start working on 5.7 on Wednesday the 21st, but you'll probably have to keep working on it through Thursday. So if you wait until Thursday, you may not be giving yourself enough time. And some sections I've given you 2 full days to work on them because I think they are more difficult and you'll need extra time. So if you skip working on Wednesday and try and do it all on Thursday, you may be surprised at how much time it's taking and run out of time. So I've laid out the schedule for the semester here. This is the first 10 weeks and then the next 6 weeks. So please print this out and have it visible and let it guide you of when you should start working on things. And remember, you can always get ahead. So you could work this Saturday and Sunday on sections 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 and have no homework to do during the week if that works better with your schedule. So other instructors do the course arrangement differently. So if that daily deadline's not going to work for you, you might want to check with other instructors and see if they format the class differently. So then there's also a really long 7-page syllabus for this class, but it's packed with information. So I have the course ID here again, and it talks about that you have to buy the software. It is your responsibility to make sure you have internet access to finish everything. I didn't have internet access is never going to be an acceptable reason for missing a deadline. But assume I'm reasonable, and if you only miss one quiz deadline, sometimes if I'm in a generous mood, I will let you do one quiz late, but I make a note, and it's one and only one, and 24 hours late. So that should be saved for emergency situations. Sierra College has an online readiness quiz you can take. If you click on this link, it will take you to the Sierra College website online readiness quiz, so you can just kind of see if you are a good fit for online. And then this is very important to me, so I put it in red. If you don't make progress in MyMathLab for 5 days and you don't contact me, I may drop you for non-attendance. So there is such a thing as attendance in an online class. I need to see that you're continuing to work and make progress, post on the discussion board, so I can see when you work in MyMathLab, and I keep a close eye on that, and I'll be contacting you and asking you what's going on. And if there's some reason you can't work for 5 days or more, you really have to contact me. I do drop students for non-attendance. So there are some homeworks I want to tell you about called show work homework assignments, or they say graphing assignments. So they're in MyMathLab, and I want you to get graph paper. So I have here a link to free graph paper, and if they're straight lines, I want straight edges, and I want straight edges used for the X and Y axes, and I'm pretty picky about that. Then what we're going to do is upload the photos of your work into Canvas. So I'm going to do an intro to Canvas video also, and there's about 11 assignments like this where you do the work on paper and then take a picture and then submit it to me and I will grade it. So those can be turned in up to 2 weeks late for 75% credit, and after that it will be a 0. The mini quizzes I've already talked about. Mini quizzes are due the day the homework is due, and again they turn off after the due date and they're gone. So there are practice mini quizzes that are available. I'll show you where those are. So you can keep using the practice mini quiz if the due date passes and you don't have access to the mini quiz and you want to check your work yourself. So then we have the big weekly quizzes, the numbered ones, and you can take it 3 times. Only the best score is saved in the grade book. And I really want you to do them without the help of text, notes, people, online resources, etc., because you're going to have to come on campus and do those in-person on-ground paper and pencil midterm and finals. And if you've gotten used to having help, it's going to be really tough. So I showed you the discussion board, and you can post to the discussion board up to 2 weeks late for 75% credit, and then after 2 weeks a score of 0 will be entered. The on-ground exam will cover sections 1.1 to 7.4 except chapter 3. You'll see we're doing the chapters out of order. And I do a closed book, closed notes, no cheat sheet exam. You can use a scientific calculator, and then here's all the details about the testing centers, and we'll talk more about that when that date gets closer. So here's the grading policy. Homework and discussion board is 15% of your grade. The 15 numbered weekly quizzes are worth 15%, so you can see each one of those is about 1% of your grade. And then there's 46 mini quizzes. They're each only worth about 1/10 as much, 1/10 of a percent, and all of them are worth 5% of your grade. Then the midterms 30% and the final exam 35%. And then I have some suggestions here. Please read through these on my expectations and what you can expect from me. And then these are the course outcomes. So if you want to know what you're supposed to be able to do by the end of Math D, you can read that here. So let me go back to the homework assignments for just a moment and talk a little bit more about when you show all assignments. So I would suggest that you just start at the beginning and march through them. I wanted to show you what the green flag is. So you hover over the green flag and it says, oh, you have to finish 70% of the homework for section 1.4 before you can work on the mini quiz for section 1.4. So most of the assignments have prerequisites. You can't work on the mini quiz for section 1.6 until you finish the 1.6 homework. And then over here you can see your attempts and whether there's a time limit. The only thing I put time limits on are the weekly quizzes that count in the gradebook. So you get 3 tries for those. Every other quiz, you can do it as many times as you like, because I'd love it if you would keep working on it till you get 100%. So then I also wanted to show you the practice mini quizzes. They're way at the end. So they're all together down here at the end because it was just making it too cluttered putting them in line. So they're down here at the very end. So if you want to use a practice mini quiz, there's one for every section. And some students have told me this is a really good way to review for quizzes and midterm and final exams. So if you have any questions, please make sure and contact me. I'd love to help you get started, and the sooner the better.